Hey everybody, I'm sitting here with Leah Amico, a former Olympic softball player and now a motivational speaker and, I would say part-time, ministry, or maybe it's full-time
Yeah,
ministry and part-time, softball and motivational speaker. So happy Tuesday, Leah. How you doing?
thanks. I'm doing great. I've been, talking with a lot of people through different online, different outlets and Zoom and lots of calls. It's been awesome because I've been able to share with some collegiate softball teams, Division One, some, high school teams, some travel ball teams, even female athletes from Ukraine a couple weeks back. So I've been definitely enjoying the time that what we've been able to do.
Yep. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to, chat about your experiences with America's team. And, you know, you and I know how many trips you've been on, and actually, I don't even know if I can count the number
I
of
know. I don't even think I
tours,
can anymore.
but I was gonna just let you, open up about, your experiences with America's team, and you can, pick different destinations and different stories, and there's really no script. So I just wanted to give you the floor and say, tell everybody about your experience with our program.
Yes, absolutely. I have loved every single trip that I've taken with America's team. And I, first went in 2012 to Italy and kind of wasn't sure exactly what to expect. It was hard to recruit athletes in the very beginning. I think just not knowing and not being on a trip myself, I'd heard about them, but had sent out a lot of invitations and ended up with 10 players, a couple that got pushed to my team when their team went under. But I'm so glad it ended up kind of happening because then after that trip, I was able to come back and just share with everybody, what I experienced and how amazing this opportunity was. And just met some of these girls that to this day I'm still in contact with. And I've seen some of them go on to get married and finish their collegiate careers. And, I just even a couple having children. And so it's just so neat to see through the years. These opportunities have led to so much more than a trip, even just going and playing softball overseas. And so Italy, I've been twice on the trips, and definitely one of the top destinations, I would say, with America's team. I love the history there. I love the architecture. I love, even softball there is pretty great. So we were able to play against some really good teams. And the one thing, both times we went, there was one area where we were able to dance with the teams and get out on the dance floor and, well, not really a dance floor, but we made it up after we had dinner with the other team. And it was so fun to just see a little bit of their culture and for our girls to even bond over that. What I love about my teams that I take, it's different and it's unique than a lot of other teams that travel. My teams come from all over the country, the athletes on my team. So the majority of players that come play for me, they don't know each other before this trip. And that's one of my favorite parts of watching on this trip unfold, the trips unfold, is how the athletes not only get this amazing experience, but they make lifelong friends as well. And I just watch those friendships start and really bud on these trips. So Italy, we were able to just go to the Vatican. We were able to of course, Rome, the Colosseum. I mean, just I can't share enough about the trip to Italy. So that is one of my favorites.
Well, awesome. So let's see. Let's pick another destination. Let's go halfway around the world, or I guess all the way around the world. Let's go down under to Australia, because I know you've been there, what,
Oh,
once or twice with us?
I've been once, and I've been planning another trip. And oh, Australia, that is up there with with Italy. I have to say, I had been to Australia a couple times previously with Team USA. I competed the last time I had been before I took a team in 2018 was in the 2000 Olympic Games. One of the neatest things was that we were able to play in Blacktown, that is not too far out of Sydney, at the exact same stadium that I won my gold medal in. And so that was the neatest thing for me to tell these athletes. I had a very special group of girls. The majority of the girls who played for me on that trip had traveled with me before. I think I had about nine returners that had played for me on previous trips. That's how great these trips are. A lot of these athletes want to come back and do it again. And so we we were able to play in there. That trip is more of a recent trip. It's been a number of years since I've been to Italy, but Australia, we were very blessed and fortunate because it is a different season for them. When we go in our summer, it's usually the end of winter for them. And so we weren't sure what was going to happen, but we were told multiple times. We were in Byron Bay, as well as another day somewhere on the coast as well. They had said both, people who worked in the area were like, we have not had this beautiful of a day in a while. And literally the weather was perfect. We hung out in Sydney. We went to the opera house. We in fact we were fortunate. We just walked in and got to see somebody practicing for an upcoming opera. And we're just amazed as we sat and watched this practice not audition, but happening. We, took a ferry under the harbor bridge. We got to go and hang out with koalas. We all held koalas. We hung out with the kangaroos and took pictures with them. I took tons of selfies with kangaroos. That was one of my memories from when I played with Team USA. So I was so excited to be back and do that. We added this portion because a lot of these trips give you an option to add on to, what you do. And one of them was to go kayaking with dolphins in Byron Bay. And so that is one of the most beautiful places that I have been. And the majority of us on our trip decided to take them up on that, and we're able to do that. We climbed up to a lighthouse. We did a hike up to a lighthouse. Truly, truly amazing. The play in Australia, that is probably the top, I would say, competition that we've faced on all of our trips. They were the teams that we faced, and Australia is one of the top teams in the world when you come into international play anyways. And so when we played, our first game, actually, this pitcher she was amazing. She was throwing the ball hard, and she was over 6 feet. And I asked her, and I said, are you planning, how old are you? Are you planning to play somewhere in America? And she said, oh, I leave next month to go, and I'm playing for University of Louisiana Lafayette. And so, she had already had a scholarship. Of course, they had recognized her ability. And so my athletes were able to compete against this athlete who was going to be playing D1 in the United States. And so we had very good competition, played a women's team. I had a couple of really, really top D1 players, as well as players who have played at all different levels in the collegiate game as well on that team. They were just prior to some of them to leaving to college. So Australia, one of the best places that, I feel like you could visit on one of these trips.
Awesome. Well, thanks. So, you talk about, the kids that you take, they're, high school kids, but then they all want to go play at the next level, whether that's, high level D1 or, junior college or NAIA kids. We have a lot of kids that go and play small college ball too. How does traveling overseas help prepare these kids for that next level?
Well, what I love about it is on my own teams, like I said, I get athletes from all over the country. So first, they get a chance to play with athletes who have played at different levels, even nationally. For nationals teams that, some girls have played a very high level travel ball and played at national tournaments. Other girls, maybe they're the best in their area, but they just don't get to see a lot of competition. So they could be the best coming out of their area, but now they're able. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, sorry. I don't know. My phone looked like it was just about to go time out. And so they get to see themselves about how they stack up. Then they get to see how they stack up against international competition. And when they do that, and I feel like for them, it gives them the experience that maybe they have not gotten in their own area. I think that's huge, to be able to be tested maybe in a new way. It gives them, a chance to play under a different coach, someone that they haven't known for a while. That's what happens to a lot of people when you go to that next level as well, and see how they can rise up, and I can see how coachable they are. I think that amongst themselves, I had some athletes who have talked and said, hey, I've already been recruited from, this program. Here's what I went about and did in my recruiting process. Now I can share as well, but even from within the group, a lot of my athletes are sharing things that they've done. Hey, I'm writing this many letters. I'm sending out this many emails a week. And so for them to be able to get to that next level, information is constantly being shared. So they're able to see it, and experience it next to other athletes who want to also play. They're able to learn what the process, takes, because some people have more information depending on the travel ball program they played for, their experience in the high school, even the different part of the country that they're from. There's just some people have more access and knowledge of that, and other people are still learning. I get a mix. I get some players who are only freshmen in high school. I had a couple have gone after their 8th grade year, so they're definitely on the younger end. But then a number of those have gone on to play college, and so when they're that young, okay, they have some time, but they're learning that process from some of the older girls who are already where they want to be. And so I love just that knowledge that gets shared.
Yep. Awesome. So now let's talk about, with your teams, we don't do this with all of America's teams as a whole, but with yours, you use America's team as a platform for your ministry and providing service and mission projects with the kids. Can you tell folks about that?
Yeah, years ago when we were going to go to Dominican Republic and Dot Richardson was taking a team, and Dot and I were on the Olympic team together in 96 and 2000. And they had a team and I had a team, went to the Dominican, and they wanted to tie it in. And so when that particular trip, we set up a little more specifically to tie in the ministry aspect for those that wanted to. They wanted to play softball, but if they'd be open to that aspect as well. And so that's when we kind of added a service project. And for that one, Brigham and America's team, they helped us find and make a connection with some people who go to the local dump, and they go and they help the locals who literally, that's what some of these kids do, not even go to school. They go to the dump each day and try to get recycling materials. So we basically got there. We had our gloves on. We had, shoes that we knew that, okay, we're going to be stepping in everything at the dump. And we went around, and I had a little boy who was 8 years old, and he helped me pick up everything plastic, and me and another, one of my players. And I'll never forget those moments. And I'll tell you, these girls never forget that as well. And it impacted their lives forever. We've done different things at different places. In Germany, we were able to go to a local, they had not a half marathon, but a run, a local, 5K or something. And so we had, the girls on the side giving out water and just kind of being a part of their culture and seeing even what that was like and cheering on the runners, and just different aspects. In Italy, we helped for a small amount of time at one of the churches where they were feeding some people who did not have food at a local church. And so we were able to jump in and help join there. And so I think for me, that just, again, gives them more depth to be like, okay, I even went to another part of the world and was able to see how I could serve in that aspect on a trip like this. And so it's brought up great conversations with the girls. I love just kind of sharing with them and kind of seeing where they're coming from. And more than anything, just to expose them. You never know what that impact can do and how they'll go out and change the world later on their own.
And thank you, because after we set up that service project in the dump, and we saw the success that you have, we do that with every team that goes to the Dominican now. So that's part of our standard Dominican tour, is serving that community. So yeah, thanks for initiating that.
Yes, absolutely. That's something that I feel like it doesn't matter what background you have, even what belief system you have. When you go do something like that, you realize how blessed we are in America and how every one of us can make a difference. And it's a great eye opener and perspective shifter.
Yep. So to wrap this up, I guess, what would you say to, a fellow parent, because, you have 3 boys, you've taken them on our tours, so what would you say to a fellow parent that is thinking about having their kid play overseas with us?
I would say that these trips, if you're considering it, it is an opportunity of a lifetime. It is so much bigger than them getting a chance. Most people go into it because of the sport. They get a chance to, okay, how cool to play your sport in another country. And that is something, it is an amazing opportunity, but there is so much more that comes out of it. I had the girls, some of my athletes that played for me, I said, can you just write a letter of what this trip meant to you? And I was shocked and excited and amazed when they wrote just how life-changing it was for them. One girl wrote and said, thank you for allowing me to play for you. This has changed, my life, and I want to travel. I want to see the world. Others have just said it built the confidence that I needed. I struggle with a high school coach that I have, and just that 1 week in an environment, many of them have said, I feel like on this trip I could be myself. I don't have to pretend to be someone else. And so it's an environment that just gets back to the heart of why they're playing game. Many of them just get that love for the game again. And then again, the lifelong, I just had somebody yesterday say, how are you doing? I miss you. I miss the other girls on the trip. It's a memory I'll never forget. You know, I've reached out for some of them on their birthday and they're writing back saying, I'm so thankful and I'm going to take the lessons I learned. I mean, this is only an 8-day trip, but it's something you will remember the rest of your lives. You learn about their culture. You learn a lot about yourself. You know, I feel like it just gives you just so much wisdom in a short amount of time. And I tell people, we all kind of, even as adults, we have those experiences when we think about camp when we were younger. I think of like high school, my senior year, going to this camp, and it's this short few day period, but it stays with you forever. This is like camp times a million. And it's something that truly can transform you and change your life.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and sharing your experiences, with our program. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single place that I've taken teams to has been amazing, and I look forward to many more trips.
You bet.